Their job is to protect and serve, but law enforcement is taking a beating across the country over accusations of excessive force.
Tonight we examine the line between defense and excessive force. KRDO News Channel 13's Greg Miller goes inside the training and asks the question, who wants to be a cop?
Riots this week in Baltimore. An angry response to the death of 25-year-old Freddie Gray, who died after being taken into police custody. Protests in Ferguson, Missouri last summer and emotionally charged racial tensions after Michael Brown, a 19-year-old black teenager, was shot and killed by a white officer.
No justice, no peace.
Here in southern Colorado, the small town of Rocky Ford shaken. Protesters demand justice for Jack.
He was shot in the back in his own home, and I don't believe Ashby had a reason to be there.
Former police officer James Ashby is charged with first-degree murder for the shooting death of 27-year-old Jacques Jaquez.
Justice will get served now that he's behind bars.
Images that could color the public's perception of law enforcement.
After Ferguson happened, we'd be walking down the street, hear a horn blow, look over, somebody be flipping us off.
Sergeant Ronald Shepard is a 21-year veteran of the Colorado Springs Police Department and serves on a crisis team.
Know that you're going to be scrutinized for things that you might do. You probably know you're going to be videoed. If you don't know, if you're not thinking that, you better be thinking it, because you are.
But when those who take an oath to protect and serve are under the microscope, does it have a ripple effect on new recruits?
It started with Ferguson and all of the back-to-back, and it puts officers in a really difficult light right now.
For Nancy Wang, one of the newest recruits to the CSPD, the decision to become an officer did not come without the careful consideration.
I think what society needs these days, to have some more good in there. There are good officers, and I wanted to be part of that.
A sentiment reflected in the number of applications to the Pikes Peak Regional Law Enforcement Academy for the last several years. On the surface, there doesn't seem to reflect a glaring problem getting recruits in Colorado Springs. 75 applications in 2013, 65 applications to the academy last year, and 50 applications so far this year. The focus continues to be on training and anticipating the unexpected. To demonstrate, CSPD brought me in to a shooting simulator where random scenarios pop up on the screen.
Sir, I need to put your hands on your head.
The first simulation, a murder suspect in a Briargate community. I confronted the bad guy, but then I hesitated and was shot.
Sir, put your hands up!
I saw you kind of
hesitate.
Go, I want to, do you think you can point a gun at this guy?
My second simulation, a burglary call. As my partner and I secure the building, we find a man reaching for what looks like a gun. I shot him, but it turns out he had a stapler. Admittedly, it's not as easy as it looks. Recruits do better, but only after months of training.
Officer safety is definitely on every single person's mind, from, every officer I've talked to, sergeants, lieutenants. That's one of the biggest focus that we do have, but at the same time, we still have a job to keep. We still make sure we're aware of our surroundings.
An awareness these recruits must have when it's time for them to patrol the streets. But it's no substitute for reality.
In a simulator, you know that you're not going to get hurt. On the street, you can get hurt, or someone else can get hurt if you make the wrong choice.
Choices that could backfire. Decisions made in a split second that could change lives forever. In Colorado Springs, Greg Miller, KRDO News Channel 13.